You're watching The Whole Living Show on Trajectory TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of The Whole Living Show. And guess what, everyone out there? You are going to get connected conversations with double the trouble. Yes, me and my bestie are going to be doing connected conversations together every month, the third Wednesdays of every month. So make sure that you look for us. We're going to have some juicy conversations for you. Today, we're going to do one that's a little serious, a little fun, but all about what we are to each other. So yes, I'm going to bring her on in before I even cover what's in the news today. Hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie. Hello, Whole Living.
Wait, I have to say it like the beautiful little girl on Instagram. Hey, bestie.
Hey.
Hello, hello. So listen, before we get started on our topic and before we even tell people what our topic is, you guys, you know, we have to talk about things that happen in the news today. Yes, today. It is about Kanye West. So Kanye right now is facing some backlash for his disrespectful comments about former First Lady Michelle Obama on a podcast, and he is sparking some social media fury. And it looks like, oh, there we go. He is sparking some social media fury. So, in one of his tirades, now he's got a new tirade going on. He was on a podcast recently, and he was asked, who's one other woman y'all gonna have a threesome with? You could pick anyone in the world, the host asked. The Vultures rapper, seemingly including Bianca Censori, which is his wife, in his question, after taking some time to think about it and laughing. And I saw pictures of like the podcast when he was doing the podcast, and it looks like he was laughing hysterically, like a little out of his mind, which is what the comment says here too. It says Kanye responded, Michelle Obama, and he said, you gotta F the former president's wife. So I don't know what, I mean, maybe, this is his way of trying to stay relevant. They say no news is really bad news. I disagree. I completely disagree. I think his comments were unwarranted. I think they were disrespectful. Not just because, now listen, yes, because she's a former first lady, but not just because she's a woman, right? And she is an African American woman, and she's a classy woman, right? So I just feel like for all those reasons, it was just completely disrespectful. She's also in the public eye, right? In a completely different way, right? But she has done nothing but shown us the upstanding person that she is throughout her whole tenure as the first lady. So there was no reason for him to bring her into his conversation, his tirade, and into his threesome. What do you think about that, Bestie? And you are lagging a little bit, so just wanted to mention that. And I can't hear you. You're on mute.
I was like, I am. I think it is just like you said. He's trying to stay relevant. Everything nowadays is for shock value. Even if his ego is bruised by previous conversations or something that someone said, I need to get I say this figuratively, I need to get the most likes I can. So I'm going to say it, regardless of how ignorant it sounds, how disrespectful it sounds. And yes, why would you say that about her?
Yeah.
Not that you should say it about anybody.
Right.
That's not the arena. She's not in your arena.
Right.
So I don't even know how you would put her in that conversation with you.
Right.
And what you're doing with the new life that you have.
And it was reported on a radio show this morning that, he was potentially responding to a comment that our former president made, saying that he's a jackass for some of the things that he has done previously. Well, if you were upset about that, you really just proved his point, right? By being a jackass in your comments and, asking for a threesome with the former first lady. So social media has been blowing up over this, and people are upset, clearly upset, and blasting him on social media for what they are calling his viral comment, right? So this is what's happening with Yeezy. I think he's just trying to be relevant because of all of the trouble that he has had. More recently, he had some anti-Semitic comments that he raised, months ago. So now, here he goes again in another tirade with these comments that he's making. So, give it up, give it up and grow up. That's what I'm going to say. That's my comments, my personal comments. Give it up and grow up. But we're not here to talk about Kanye anymore. We just had to bring that up because it's in the news and social media is going viral. Right. And people are making so many comments about it. So we had to mention it as well. But we stand behind Michelle Obama. But like she said, and she has always said throughout her tenure, when they go low, we go high. So I'm sure she's not even going to respond
I can see her somewhere right now rolling her eyes like,
Right.
really?
Ridiculous. Right. It's my comment would have been not personally, not, out on social media, but
Dude.
little boy.
Right.
Because that's just
Good boy.
not something that an adult, right, is going to do. A
Right.
mature adult.
And we're from the same area.
Right.
We're from the same area. Respect our where we grew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because just because I was in the White House, I'm still from Chicago.
Mhm.
I'm just going to say that.
Absolutely.
Me and my husband. No, sir. I'm just saying.
So what we're here to talk about tonight, though, is making new friends. So also in the news, what came up is how do you make new friends? In a time where there's so much social media, right? There's so many eyes on people, right? Whether you solicit it or not, because you are posting on social media, but there's so many eyes on people, right? And everybody's paying attention to what people are doing. And they're saying that, people are having a hard time, not just kids in, junior high school and high school, also adults are having a hard time making new friends. So we wanted to talk a little bit about this, and they gave 7 phrases that you could use to suggest how you speak to someone in order to open up the possibility of gaining a friendship. So it says making new friends can feel more daunting when you pass the stages of playgrounds, right? School sports and teams, right? And dorm rooms. So they're saying a whopping 58% of American adults report being lonely. And every 7 years, they say, this is a report based on a study, that people lose half their friends. Says the average person loses 2 social ties, including friends, when they get into a romantic relationship, and they lose even more once they have kids. This is what they're saying. And they're blaming it on people's busy lifestyles. So they say that they lose friends because they get into relationships, they have kids, they're dealing with their family, they're working, and their lives get busy, and they lose these friendships that they have. Right. So it says people are most successful in building and rebuilding their social circles. And you look like you are burning to talk, but let me just go through this first part of it, and then we're going to get into it. It says people are most successful in building and rebuilding their social circles. And they are the ones who don't wait for new friends to come to them. They are the ones who initiate and cultivate. So those who are great at doing it are the ones who initiate and cultivate. So they give 7 phrases. But before we go through that, I want to hear, what your comments are about, losing friends when life gets busy for adults. And she's on pause. There's some delay there. So I'm going to wait for you to start talking before we get into it. There you go. I can hear you. This technology.
Oh, I was frozen. I was waiting for it to unfreeze.
Yeah.
Am I okay now?
Yeah, we can hear you. So just keep talking.
I think I didn't hear. I didn't know what you asked me because I was frozen. But the part about the part that got me, that's why I was itching to say something, is the losing the friends part.
Mm-hmm.
And I was quick to jump on that and be like, oh no, you don't lose friends. People just don't lose friends like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to catch myself and think about how I maintain my own friendships. And it's an intentional thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we learn to do.
Yeah.
So that you don't lose those friends. So you have to be diligent in maintaining the connection. So you don't lose those 2.5 friends that they're talking about every year. That's a lot.
Yeah.
For a person who doesn't have a big friend circle.
Yeah. Yeah. And
too.
I'm going to go on the other side of it, right? Just being a parent and understanding what they're coming from in that respect, right? Like you do get busy in that regard because there's especially when the kids are smaller, As they grow older, it's a little bit different because they're more independent. But when you're running from sporting event to sporting event to activity to school event to it does get hard. But like you said, you have to set the intention to continue those friendships, right? But I will say this, when you have a
That's
good
right.
group of friends, when it's a good group of friends, you don't really lose the friendships. People just understand that you may be busy, right? They understand that life happens and they're probably doing the same things, right? Whether it is things with kids, things with spouses or significant others, traveling, fulfilling dreams, whatever that is as you become adults, right? People become busy doing things, whatever it
Exactly.
is. So I
Mhm,
wanted to
mhm,
say that like you can have these long breaks, right? Or what may be considered like lulls in the friendship or
mhm,
the time that you spend. But when you have real
mhm,
friends, you never really lose the real
mhm.
friends, right? Um, so talk a
Yeah.
little bit about, I want to hear what your take is on, because I know you have a lot of social circles, right? What your take is on, you know, coming into social circles and building upon social circles with good people. And I'm saying with good people because that's really, in my opinion, right? This is my opinion, but that's really what it takes. When you really want to build something, building it with good people is what's really important. So talk a little bit about that.
Mhm. Well, I believe that you get what you give.
Mm. Mm,
So
that's good.
when I meet people everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I go, it doesn't matter, grocery store, work,
Mm-hmm.
wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm putting out, and it's not intentional. It is intentional in some aspects, but it's
Mm-hmm.
who I am. I'm
Mm-hmm.
putting out this good energy. It connects with somebody else's good energy,
Mm-hmm.
or it attracts people who are looking for good energy or good friendships or even just good conversation.
Yeah.
So you're right. I have lots of circles. They're intertwined. Some of them are just so far. Some of them are very intertwined. Some of them are just far apart, but there's
Mm-hmm.
still connection. The main connection is me.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying earlier that I meet one person, and because there's such a good connection, they invite me into their circle
Mm-hmm.
because that they feel, oh, not only is this person a decent person, she's fun, she has good spirit. I
Mm-hmm.
feel safe bringing her around who makes me safe,
Mhm, mhm.
and not feel like I'm putting her in a situation where she's gonna feel awkward,
Yeah,
and not putting myself in a situation where I don't want to bring certain people around my people.
yeah,
Let's just be honest.
yeah. Mhm.
So I
This
think that's the bigger thing. It's what you're putting out there that
yeah,
allows you to attract all these other people and these
yeah,
friends and maintain them.
yeah. And I love that you talked about, the fact that you speak to people, you engage with people in any space, right? Wherever you are. I love that. I can remember as a young girl, I used to always say to my mom, like, why do you speak to everyone? I was younger. I didn't really understand it. I'm like, you don't know these people. Like, why are you talking to them? But now I find myself, I'm just like my mom now. I'm
Hmm.
in the store and I'm engaging with people. Like everywhere I go, I'm engaging with people. I talk and I talk and I talk. And then that's how you just build relationships with people. And that's how you start to find friends. I found a friend here in North Carolina, and actually she started the conversation, but it was all
Hmm.
about a license plate, right? Because she saw that I was from up north and she was from up north, and that's how we connected and that's how we
Right.
bonded, right? But there's always something that you can do or say to engage another person,
Hmm.
right? In order to, potentially have a new friend. So
Exactly.
I want to go through some of the phrases. Now, remember, this article is about adults, right? So I'm not telling the kids to go out there and say these phrases, even though some of them they could, particularly if they're in high school, they definitely could,
Right.
right? because it's nothing racy or anything like that. Nothing inappropriate. I don't
They
think
they might find it a little boring, but they,
right, right. But it says, okay, so the first one is, and this one I don't particularly care for, but I'm just gonna put that out there. But it says, "I love your blank. Where did you get it?"
Well,
Yeah, I'm not so crazy about that one, but it did say that now they are basing this on a study, and it says one study found that only 40% of people thought the first stranger they approached would be open to talking to them, but in reality, it was about 92% of the time people were open to it. And it says try paying someone a genuine. Now I do agree with this part, a genuine compliment, because if it's not genuine and authentic, don't say it, right? But a genuine compliment about, they said, their shoes, their style, what's something that they're wearing. And it's sure to make them more open when you start to talk about something that you're complimenting about them. So what do you think about this one?
I think the part that pauses you is, where did you get it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ask, because I love, you'll give a compliment in a heartbeat. Oh, I love that dress.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm that person on the opposite end that'll be like, oh, I got it from Target.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just me. I don't care. Sharing, I probably wouldn't use the where did you get it either.
Right.
I would definitely say, I love that, or that's nice on you.
Right.
And
but
make
now,
me laugh with the genuine comment, because you know your bestie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it if it's not.
That's
I for a sweater. I don't.
That's right. That's right.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Right. Okay. Well, I was gonna say when you don't like it, don't say anything.
Just don't say anything. Just don't say I don't either.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with you offering up. Like if somebody pays you the compliment, that you offer up where you got it from. If that's how you feel in the moment.
Right.
I just think it's awkward. Like, oh, where'd you get it? It's like, I don't really know this person. Now it feels a little pushy. I feel like you should just, instead of, because to me, the where did you get it part seems like, okay, I'm really talking to you because I want that. Right. I want what you're wearing. I don't necessarily want to talk to you. I just want what you're wearing. Opposed to just giving somebody a genuine compliment and saying, you look beautiful in that dress, or that's a beautiful dress, or whatever. You know what I mean? I think it comes off a little better.
If you want it. I mean, now I do agree. You actually gave me another thought, that if you did want it, that's probably a good lead-in. I love that. Or I was looking for that for a gift. Would you mind telling me where you got it? Because now that I do.
Yeah. There's different ways to phrase it. It just seems, I don't know, the way they stated it, it seems a little pushy to me.
Right.
And it seems like, I don't really want to talk to you. I just want what you're wearing.
I like your sweater. Could you tell me where it is? Okay, now get out of the way.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to number 2, right? It says, how do you like blank? So it says, people like being asked their opinions. Sharing them activates their brain's reward centers. So it says, use your shared surroundings to strike up a conversation with a stranger. So we'll use this other example. You're in a store, right? Say it's a clothing store, because we like clothes, right? But you're in a clothing store, and you see, this beautiful person with this amazing energy. And I'm going to use energy because I love the way you said earlier, energy matches energy, right? So when you see this person with this great energy, striking up a conversation to say, hey, I'm looking at this dress. What do you think about this? And that's what they're asking. Like, how do you like blank? So if you're in a clothing store, you can just say, how do you like this? Or if you're trying something on and that person is in the dressing room, what do you think? How does this look on me? And then you strike up conversation that way. I'm looking to get an opinion, and strike only if it's genuine. Once again, if you don't care, right? Don't say that, right? But
right. If you really don't want their opinion, don't say anything.
Right.
You're gonna get it, and you're not gonna be happy.
Exactly. And you don't know what opinion you're gonna get, too.
Exactly. But if you're just strictly, let's just make it surface. If you're strictly just trying to generate conversation, because you want to meet somebody, then yeah, I particularly don't I'm not fond of that question, but I would probably say, how do you like something else? Or if it's a new store, how do you like this store? This is my first time in here. I'm a talkative person, so they may not get a word in because I'm gonna say everything before they get a chance. How do you like this store? Because it's new. I've never been here before. I just figured I'd stop by.
Or
By
even
that time, just say yes or no.
Even in the grocery store, like I struck a conversation with a couple because the lady was going for the same thing that I was going for, but she had never tried it before, right? So she looked a little puzzled, like she was unsure. So I just offered up my opinion on the product, right? Because of her facial expression.
Exactly.
So then I ended up, having a short conversation with her and her husband about the product and how I fix it. And it was something that comes in a bag that they tell you can microwave. And I was telling her, well, I don't put anything in a microwave. So this is how I cook it over the stove. So this became a whole conversation, right? In the grocery store, in the aisle of the grocery store. So, you can always find ways to strike up a conversation. Absolutely. And that's another thing I want to say. Pay attention to people's body language, to their facial expressions. You'll know if they're open to converse with you.
That's right.
If you pay attention to the body language, if they're snarling, if their face is snarling, maybe that's not the person you want to engage with. And it doesn't mean they're a bad person, but that might be a bad day for them. So maybe it's not, maybe you just want to give them a smile.
Right.
Something that might change, it might change them. I always smile at people even when they're snarling.
Right.
Because, let me give off the good energy, right?
if I'm being bad, because sometimes I am, and they're snarling, are you okay? Because it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm in Target and your face shouldn't look like that 8 o'clock in the morning.
However, that may trigger something for them, right? And not trigger in a bad way. I'm saying to have them release some of the bad energy that they're feeling just because somebody expressed some concern to say, are you okay? That's a great one. If you see somebody snarling, if you see someone looking unhappy and you ask if they're okay, that is a great way to open up conversation, to be able to engage with someone. And you never know what may come out of that because they may just give you some real, genuine, conversation from whatever is happening for them in that moment, right? And they may give it to you and it may spark a friendship there because you never know. Maybe it's something that you've been through. Maybe you're meant to talk to them. Maybe it's something that you've been through that you can actually help them with. So I would say don't turn away from the person that's snarling. Do exactly what Bestie said and ask if they're okay and see if you engage in conversation that way and whether or not there's a potential for a deeper friendship. That goes even deeper, right? Because now this person may feel comfortable enough to say something that warrants more conversation because they're telling you, a little bit about how they feel in that moment.
I gotta say, I met one of my good friends who is no longer with us. And I met her at getting our cars fixed. And she was quite talkative, and I was not. I was literally mad because my car was going to cost an arm and a leg, and I was sick of it. And she was quite talkative. She didn't spark a conversation with me. She was just talkative to everything and everybody. And we just start talking, and she's like, "Oh, you're not from here." We got our key connection was the fact that we were both living in this town in Ridgewood, and that one place and one conversation ended up being a friendship that had me drive cross country to Houston when she moved with her, being connected with her family, just going through her entire life. I didn't see her every day. We didn't talk every day. Towards the end, when she was passing, she didn't want to be connected to her. And I just say that because she didn't want anybody to dote on her. That was her thing. She didn't want to be doted on. So I had to come to grips with the way the friendship was going to move because that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
But it was a year. It was, oh my God, how many years were we
It was
friends?
years, yeah.
Like a long time, a long time. And but that just goes to show she needed somebody to hear her that day. And it extended into this whole long friendship.
Yeah.
You never know. And I also wanted to say, when you were saying about how do you like not how do you like this, or how do you get connections? I mean, I'm sorry. When you're sparking the conversations, sometimes people are just not good at it. We know that. Watch people. My bestie and I were talking about how people watching is our pastime. And it doesn't matter where we are. She knows everybody who knows me. When I'm in the restaurant, I'm in the restaurant with everybody.
Yes.
So if you're in there, I'm with you too. I'm at your table. I'm in your conversation.
Watch your conversations in the restaurants when she's around you. Even if you're at the table, she's listening.
I'm listening and I'm enjoying, and I'm sharing commentary with the people at my table, but not there with you. So, but that's a good way to see where people are, how people interact. And is there a moment for you to interject? Now, if it's a private conversation or intense conversation, I can understand. But if they're talking about something jovial or something that, might be funny, and you have a comment, lighthearted, non-judgmental, anything that's just easy, you may be able to interject. I don't mean to be nosy, but I heard you talking about this and blah, 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 blah. Maybe something funny or helpful. And that opens the door to meeting someone new.
Yeah. And I would say, because they talked about people potentially being lonely, right? Adults being lonely. If you are in a public place, a restaurant by yourself, right? That's a great way to spark conversation, to be able to have, some companionship, right? And you may not be with them, but you don't have to be with them to have companionship in the moment, to be able to speak with somebody, particularly if you sit at, like, if a restaurant has the bar where they serve the food there, so you're closer to people, you can hear what they're talking about. You can usually join in the conversation when you're sitting at the bar area versus sitting at a separate table by yourself.
Right.
So that's a great way. I want to pivot a little bit because I want to talk about something that you kind of sparked a conversation in my head when you said, and not necessarily a conversation, but just a thought, when you talked about when you were talking about your friend that you met, right? But what I love about what we do is we have friendships that maybe I met the friend, but then they become your friend, and vice versa, right? Just because you share in those friendships. And when you invite, me somewhere or vice versa, and then we just combine the friendships, right? And it could be people that we've met separately, but we're like, hey, like, it's almost like, this is a great person. So, let's all go. And we're good that way. So I would say too, if you are a person who has that lonely feeling, but you do have one or two good friends, engage with them and their group of friends. Because if it's a good friend, they're not going to mind that you're coming. They're not going to care about that. They're going to want you to be included in whatever it is that they're doing, if it's not like something private that the other person is doing. So, I wanted to say, combine friendships. If you want to have more people around you, if you want more friends, that's a great way to know if people are quality people. Also, they have good energy, because if you know you're a good friend, you know that person is going to be around people with good energy. And it's a great way.
Yeah. We're for a friend.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's a beautiful young woman on Instagram named Michelle Lopez, and she has these shirts that she does that says "refer her," and she's talking about business and saying that's not a competition, but I'm saying this in this conversation about sharing friends. Refer her, refer her to a friend. right? Refer another friend to a friend. And it could be around business and then people can become friends out of
Right.
that. But whatever it is, refer a friend. Why not?
Exactly. If you're
You
in
know?
an area like you just moved to Charlotte a couple of years ago, if I knew people, I didn't know anybody down there.
Mm-hmm.
But if I knew people, that would be the first thing I would say. My friend is
Yeah.
moving there,
Yeah.
and it's just her. And so I need you to just call her up and say, "Let's go here to eat one day,"
Yeah.
or just check on her and my nephew or whatever.
Yeah.
Or even ask if you're the
Mm-hmm.
person
Mm-hmm.
who's moved or who's in this area, even if you've not moved, and you
Mm-hmm.
find yourself, like the article said, have lost 2.5 friends every year.
Mm-hmm.
And you might want to start having somebody refer you to somebody else. I just couldn't get over that part of the article.
I know. And before we take a break, I'm going to have to say this. If you are the person that was in the position of losing 2.5 friends per year, maybe it's time to take a self-assessment. I'm just going to say that. And we're going to come back and talk about that after this commercial break. I'm going to show you guys. I want everybody to pay attention to this commercial here. This is the Power of We Symposium. This is coming up in October. I'm going to put the website on the screen as well, because I want you all to get involved. Get involved with this. It's for a great cause. There's going to be more kids there this year, and we want people to get involved. Donate your time, any type of resources that you have. Doesn't necessarily have to be money, but we would definitely love the support of the financial currency as well. But, if any way that you can donate, please do so. So I'm going to show you this commercial again. Here we go.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
All right, everyone. Make sure you go to thepowerofwesymposium.com. Get your tickets. Join us in Chicago. We will be there. Both of us will be there working and speaking. So definitely join us in Chicago in October. So I wanted to go back to what we were discussing about, the fact that if you're losing 2.5 friends a year, maybe it's time to assess yourself and what's happening and why you're losing those friends.
Yeah. So. I think it's hard for us, not only for a couple of reasons. We've been friends for life. Mm-hmm. We were friends before we were even living. Our moms were friends, but before we came along. So we were raised. We loved them. They cut up horribly. They worse than us.
Yeah.
Don't say that. But so we have this longevity of friendship, and we've learned how to maintain it because that's just we were never really separated. Our lives, except for when we went to college.
Yeah,
I think that was the only time we were separated when we went to college. But even later in life, because we've both gone through so much self-improvement and learning and assessment, we realized that in having and authentic and abundant life, we knew that our relationships had to be different, or how we moved in them had to be different. So we did that work. So a lot of people don't. And there's a lot of bases as to why you're friends. Oh, we've been friends since grade school, or our parents were friends, or we grew up as cousins, or whatever. But it's the maintaining of the friendship that mitigates losing 2.5 friends a year. I know I'm saying it a lot, but it boggles my mind because me, I'm so emotional and sensitive and kind of close-fisted with my people. I don't lose people. If you're not my friend right now, it is because, and I'll say this with all transparency, you've done something to move out of this space. Because I don't believe people are throwaway. Do you have to distance yourself from certain people and their behaviors? Absolutely. And those are the same people that you don't always bring into those other circles because you don't know how they're going to treat your other people. I'll just say that, knowing that I have several circles. But you have to know how to maintain the few you have. If I have 30 friends and I'm losing 2.5 a year, I'm gonna have none. Have 2 friends and you lose the 2.5 every year, you pretty much don't have any friends.
That's a 10-year time span, basically.
Please believe we all need people now. Everybody will have their moments and go through experiences, say, I don't need friends. I don't know if that's true.
I
don't know what I would do. That is a clear indication that there needs to be some work done with how you move, your energy, because you do need them. You need people.
Absolutely. So let's go back into, some of the phrases that they're saying will work for you to spark friendships. So it says, this kind of goes with number 2. Number 2 was, how do you like, X? This one says, do you have any recommendations for? So it's kind of the same thing. Maybe it's just different, maybe a different industry or something like that. Like we talked about shopping before. Do you like X, right? But maybe this is something like, do you have any recommendations for a restaurant, right? Usually that's what people ask for recommendations for. So, it says here that people tend to like people who like them, and asking for recommendations sends the signal that you appreciate someone, you value their opinion, and you're curious to hear what they have to say. And people love that, right? So do you have recommendations is another one. Number 4 is, it was great to meet you. I'd love to stay in touch if you're open to it. How do you like to stay connected? Now, one conversation doesn't make a friendship. It's just the start is what they're saying, right? So you have to turn those initial interactions into something meaningful by building the friendship, right? But they say that this is a way to continue the friendship without overstepping, right? Or being too abrasive. So they put that comment in there. They put that little phrase in there, if you're open to it, right? So, but it is a great way to figure out how to stay in touch. I'll give a perfect example. I met this beautiful young lady, sat down next to us in church, and she just looked at us and started talking. And we just all started talking. It's just how it went. And then her husband came and her mom came, and then all of us just talked, right? But it was just a great way. She just started the conversation, and it was just a great way to get to know each other. And we exchanged information, right? So when you have those connections, and like the energy was amazing, right? So it was just like, okay, well, we're going to connect. We're going to make sure that we continue to connect. And we have. So that's just a great way to, spark the conversations with people. And we decided to exchange information, which is what number 4 is actually saying, right? So that's how you continue these conversations with people and how you build the friendships. So number 5 says, I've enjoyed getting to know you. Let's make plans to hang out more often. So they're saying this, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say, but they're They're saying this after you've had an
Okay,
extra conversation or two. This is after the initial encounter.
gotcha.
So yeah, but say what you say. What you
It caught me off guard a little bit because I'm reading it as well, and I'm like, okay, I just met you, and we're gonna hang out more often. Did we hang out at all yet? That's a little stalkerish. You're making me nervous.
No, this was after a few times, a couple of times after the initial.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes along with the most common thing that you say. Well, what do you like to do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you're not working, or what do you do when you're not? I honestly equate the same things you would say on a date or the 1st date or get to know you date that you say to friends, that you're weeding out the person's information. So you ask pretty much the same questions. I see here when they're saying the connection you already have and then asking to make plans to hang out again on purpose. That's what stood out to me when I read it. It's on purpose. It has to be purposeful. You have to put intention behind these practices.
Yeah, for sure. And it says friendship is built on repeated interactions and shared vulnerability. And that's interesting, right? To say shared vulnerability. But when people feel like they can see you, when they can really see you, the authentic you, which comes from some level of vulnerability, right? We're not saying that you have to air everything about yourself in the first couple of interactions, right? We're not saying give them your full life story the first 2 or 3 times that you meet with them. But in being real and open and honest, right? That's where vulnerability comes from, right? Being, having those traits and being able to really share with people when they see the realness of you, they're going to want to interact with you more, or they're not, right? And then that's how you'll know that they're meant to be a friend. Yeah.
It is a choice at that point. And like you said, they're going to see the openness in you, but they may also, not only did they say, oh, there's something about this person I want to get to know. It also could be, she saw me. Like she really saw me. So, and I've been coming to this breakfast place, coffee shop, restaurant, shop, store, whatever, for weeks.
Yeah.
This is the first person that ever even sparked a conversation with me because this particular person sparked it with me.
Yeah.
She saw me. So that may be the door opening for that person.
Yeah.
So you never know. It's reciprocal.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, like you said, you got to be open to it. It's a double point of vulnerability. Yeah.
Yep. And energy flows, right? You have to have that energy flowing. It's an exchange, right?
Right. Energy flows where energy goes.
That's right. That's right. So, and that's what you were talking about very early in the show, right?
Yeah. I think too that I don't know. I'm always ready to meet somebody. Everything is not going to be permanent, but you have to think about, I keep going back to this. You have to think about what you want in friendships and what you want to give in friendships. And I think sometimes that's probably a standstill for some people, because you don't think that, I want this friendship. I want people to be friends with me. Why, but you're not knowing what you're giving to the friendship.
Yeah.
Or you don't feel like you have to. I'm just being me. Yeah, I do something. See, one-sided friendships don't work.
Not at all. And people start to recognize that, right? And then they're like, okay, well, this is not serving.
I'm one of the 2.5.
Right. Exactly. So let's see, number 6. Number 6 says, blank made me think of you. I've been meaning to reach out. How have you been? Now, this is saying that you should pursue old friendships, reignite some old friendships where, nothing, they're saying insurmountable has happened, right? That would cause you not to reach out to this person. Maybe you just lost contact. Maybe it was the whole busy thing that they talked about earlier, right? Lives just got busy and you lost contact. And they're saying, some of the best friendships to have are the ones that you can reignite. And they talked about how you can, trust this person because nothing, detrimental happened to the friendship. So this is a person that you can trust. This is a person that you already feel comfortable with. Why not reignite those friendships that were good maybe, years ago? So, that's a way to think about, okay, how can I reignite some friendships that I've had before that felt good before, right? We just lost touch.
Yeah, I have a very, 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 very good friend. I have a couple. I have a lot of good friends. You always gonna hear me say that. But I have a friend that lives in Atlanta that I met when I moved to Atlanta, and I do not talk to her every day. And I probably don't even talk to her every month. But she's such a real and genuine person and friend. She can say to me, I call you all the time. You don't call me. With a few times that we talk, you don't call me. And because I want to be a good friend and I want her friendship, regardless of whether I can talk to her once a month or once a year, I want her friendship. I can say, you know what, you're right. I'm being a sucky friend right now.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it. You will hear from me. I will call you. I will be texting you. And for her and I, it's like we've never missed a beat. I haven't talked to you since November. And now we're talking for 2 hours. It's like we never missed a beat.
Yeah.
So those are definitely the ones you want to rekindle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to lose those. They don't have to be here. And it's hard. Listen, my bestie is 10 hours away from me driving. An hour and 5 minutes on the flight. And I do have a large circle of friends, but I do have moments when I'm like, wow, I really just want to run by her house.
Yeah.
Or I want to have lunch with her.
Yeah.
I'm always going to lunch and dinner and brunch and stuff, but I want to have lunch with her.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about good, genuine relationships and ones that you're in tune to each other, is my phone will ring when I'm in that moment, and it's her.
Yeah. Because I'm going to say this right here, and I know who you were talking about, Tammy, because I love her too. I think she's amazing. But I'm that person too. I pick up the phone.
She calling you.
I'm calling. And if she starts texting too much, I'm calling. I'm not doing all that texting. I'm calling. I'm the friend that's calling. So, but I don't listen. I know she loves me. So I don't get upset. Like if she's not calling, because she just don't call. I'm gonna give you guys an example. I'm gonna tell on my bestie a little bit here. Give you an example. So her cousin, her blood cousin. I mean, first cousin too. Not second, not third. Her first cousin used to call me to say, where is my cousin? Because she's not responding to my text messages or my calls. This is how bad she is with her phone and phone calls and text messages.
I am.
So you have to pick up the phone. Now, see, if I don't get her, I'm going to ring a few times.
Right.
Now, if I didn't get her before and when I was in New Jersey, I'm going to her house.
Right.
Now, when I don't get her, if I don't get her now, I'm sending somebody up to her house. Yeah, but I have my grandmother.
Right, I was gonna say sometimes your mother like Tracy said she tried to call you. Okay.
That's right. I'm gonna have my mom or my grandma go get her, or I'm gonna call her mother and have her mother go get her. So, but I definitely feel that people play certain roles, right? That's my role. I just feel like that's my role. I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call her, and I don't get upset that she doesn't answer her text messages for a while. I just pick up the phone and call, right? It's just my role. That's what we do. That's how we do. So it's all good because that's the way it is, right? And when you have these deep friendships, you know when people really love you, and that, again, she's got a wonderful life. I'm gonna put it that way, right? She's very social. So, and I understand that. So when I want to talk, I'm gonna pick up the phone and call.
That's right. And it doesn't matter when. Like I think in the beginning they were saying, oh, life changes, you have a baby. When she became pregnant, life changed. It wasn't going to the club.
Yeah.
He's going to eat a lot.
All the time.
But it's still a friendship. It's still the time you get to spend with your friend. So the great part about having several or different circles is what you want to do, you have other people to do it with. But
Yeah.
those friendships, those real strong friendships, your interaction pivots with life.
Yeah.
She's not been married, I've not been married, but she's been engaged. So that means there's a little bit of pullback until whoever she engaged to gets to like me, and then I'm just coming right back on in it. That's stuff. But
and even in a relationship, that's you introduce your significant other to your bestie, right? Because we should all be family. That's how we see it. But this is how we were raised, right? We were raised to be family with our friends.
That's right.
So I'm going to end it on that note. Your friends, when they are real friends, when they are good friends, right? When they are good people, your friends become family. They're not just friends, right? So we're going to end it there, unfortunately, but make sure that you catch us every third Wednesday of the month. If there is a topic that you want to talk about, send us a message. Send us a message on Facebook through The Whole Living Show, or you can put it in the comments right under this show, and we will
talk about
that topic. Connected Conversations every third Wednesday right here on The Whole Living Show. We love you all. We thank you for being here. And join me and my bestie again next month.
Yes.
We're going to take it away.